So this is the thing too, is like different clubs make people swing it differently. So Matt's hit 9 golf balls here. We haven't taken any of them out. He's swinging pretty good. That was 4.3 degrees up on it. Matt hits typically right now 0 to 1. So that's a significant difference.
Yeah.
So that's where we're seeing the launch and stuff like that. So that's where it might not, if he made the exact same swing, it might not have come out as high, but he reacted to the situation and obviously saw a different result. So
yeah, I guess moral of the story is the equipment can obviously change results, but it can actually also change delivery and change the player.
Person, absolutely. Yeah. It can for sure. So if we see another one like that, that's pretty good. So let's do it. So we're starting with the STX. So there's 2 models from Mizuno, 3 if you include the STG. The G is a later launch, so it typically comes out at the end of the summertime with more adjustability. But this is a great product, and so we're starting with the X, more draw bias. It's 189 grams head weight versus 196 in the Z here, or in the Z if you're from Canada. So basically this should not fit Matt. A little backstory on this though, he has played the previous model of this version. So it's interesting because it's not a very shut draw driver. It's just a little bit lighter and there's a little more weight in the heel. So it's really, if you're a big slicer of the golf ball, potentially this could work for you, but it's not gonna look like the other models from other companies,
they sort of hide the draw. So I think for me, and one of the reasons why I thought I'd give it a try, it still sits very flat.
Yes,
so a lot of draw drivers, they're very, very upright. So the lie angle ends up, as opposed to flat lie angle, it's much more upright there. So the toe is up. And to me, it just doesn't work.
Doesn't fit your eye.
You may have noticed I'm not very tall. So flatter just makes me much more comfortable.
Much better, yeah. So this is, we're just going to start with the standard. This is the Motore, Fujikura, one of the stock options with Mizuno. So we're just going to see how Bally gets on with this guy.
All right. Let's see if we can create a friendship here.
Absolutely. Let's see it.
Okay.
All right. So let's get back to it. So this is Motore F3, stock option from Mizuno, and in the STX. So let's see it. Okay, well, it started just right of the line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
interesting.
Just kind of wiped it. I just got to get moving a little bit, but
okay. That's all right.
It's not often you see me completely wipe cut a draw driver.
It's interesting though, right? Because there's definitely a difference here, right? It's one of those ones that if a draw driver in the past doesn't work for you, this potentially could be an option.
Yep.
That was a good swing.
Yeah, body's moving a little better.
Really solid. See, and again, evidence to why Matt has played this driver in the past. I mean, it's not hooking for sure, but for you, someone who likes to play that little fade, it turns that overcut into a pretty decent flight.
That was really good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen a lot of golf swings from you that launch nice and high. We know the swing weight's fairly light on this because it is a fairly light driver.
Doesn't feel bad though.
That's good. That's good.
Like I think, and actually that's something for people. When you go a lighter swing weight, generally you can go a softer shaft as well.
Yeah.
When the head's heavy, it makes the shaft play softer.
Absolutely.
So
picture a big fish on a fishing rod, right? The heavier the weight on the end, the more the thing's going to flex, and it's the same thing true with golf shafts. So if you played something at D0 versus D7, big difference in how the shaft is going to feel in your hands and how it's going to perform. So, all right, give me another one here, just like that. That was perfect. Another good swing.
Yeah, that felt hit okay. That might have turned over. No, it held on.
Yeah, 3 feet of curvature left. So again, someone who is feeling like he's leaving the face a little bit open, and we're just getting great results with that straight ball flight. And again, nothing is turned over too much, and that's 3 pretty darn good shots.
Yeah, that's
so.
The shaft's a hair soft, but I mean, I'm
and we're done. No,
that's it.
That's great to see though. So let's pop in a different shaft and let's just see.
Yeah,
This again, like I knew the other draw drivers we tested for you weren't going to perform, but this is something that potentially could be an option, right? So let's go with something a little bit different here, even though those numbers are quite good.
Yeah, surprised how good they are actually. Like that one I didn't quite catch.
No, launch was a little
265.
lower.
The other one was 275, which is kind of my happy number.
Absolutely, not a bad.
When I'm hitting it good. Let me stand here so the camera can see my beautiful face.
And that's just.
I feel like I got bags under my eyes saying, you know, coffee.
That's just standard neutral setting too there. So very cool that we didn't have to play around with it to get kind of the shape that you're looking for as well.
Yeah, so the neutral in this is, again, very much flat, which I like.
Yeah, so versus ping starts upright and then you've got a 3-degree flat setting on the other side of the collar. This one is the opposite. So it starts 3 degrees flat and essentially you have the option to go up 1 to 3 degrees. So a little bit of a different build there and a little different way that they do it. So let me just tag this one real quick, Matt. So this is the 10C Blue. So again, one of those shafts that for a lot of people feels really good. Doesn't mean it's going to perform perfectly well, but this is a 65 gram. And hopefully we'll see some numbers just like the one we just did.
Feel a little more weight.
Okay, a little heavier this thing.
Yep.
Another good one. So a little high on the face there, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Seemed a little.
The shaft felt. I'll hit another one. The shaft didn't feel as good.
Okay.
When I took it back, I just didn't know where the head was.
Okay.
So it was.
And so there was a couple things that changed there, right? So head speed was down 2 miles an hour, so obviously you didn't feel the timing of the head, you didn't sequence it properly. Again, a decent result, but I mean, I think we know that you've got a little bit more in you, and we know that numbers we'd take that on the golf course for sure, but
it's
we
just
can get
not
probably
solid.
a little better.
All right,
yeah,
try it again.
Didn't quite sound the same too. So
let's
see one more here.
I can't hit this. I don't like it.
It's interesting. So definitely a different strike location.
Yeah, it's no good. Not for me.
You hear the sound, right? And that's something as a fitter that I listen to for a lot is, first of all, I want to know how comfortable the person is swinging it. And you can tell just right away visibly that Matt was uncomfortable doing that. And that's just from lots of experience of seeing people, right? So, and him too.
Lots of experience with me being uncomfortable.
All right, well, that's good to know though. So we get rid of that one
it just didn't feel. And it's funny because I've hit that shaft in other drivers and it's felt fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, something was a little off.
This is an interesting one, right? So this is the RDX Hazardous, so the black here. This is quite a low launch, low spin profile. So for you, it might not be the fit. Weight wise, it might be fine. It's in that 60 gram range, but I'm thinking that this is going to be a little too low. All right. But it would be an interesting combination with this head on here.
We'll see. Thank you. Definitely feel the tip is much more stable.
This thing is stout for sure.
Yeah.
So let's just see how this feels compared to the motor. Okay, that launched way higher.
Yeah.
So again, that's where. So this shaft should, in theory, launch lower, spin less. I mean, spin, you're extremely consistent, about 2,000 with almost everything here.
Yeah, nice high knuckleball.
That was gorgeous, right? So that's your highest launch I've seen from you in a long time.
Yeah.
With good results, right? I think we see the one that maybe it launches high, but it scoots off to the right. But that was fantastic. So again, head speed didn't change a whole lot. That was 110 there. Spin at 2,100. If we compare that to what we had before, this is the one that Matt didn't like so much. Spin was up and just didn't quite feel as good.
So, and this is just kind of a side note again from a fitting perspective, but this is why we always say that you can't fit based on what the spec sheet of a shaft says.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could.
Yeah.
Make my job a lot easier.
Quite often for me, when I get a low launch, low spin shaft in my hands, that generally means it's going to be very stiff, very stable at the tip, and also very stiff, very stable in the hands. Yeah. And if I feel something stiff, for some reason my brain reacts and kind of releases it more. Yeah. And that can be good or bad. In this case, it seems to be okay.
That was quite good, right?
But,
so we know you, like, first of all, so this is the thing too, is like different clubs make people swing it differently. So Matt's hit 9 golf balls here. We haven't taken any of them out. He's swinging pretty good. That was 4.3 degrees up on it. Matt hits typically right now 0 to 1, so that's a significant difference.
Yeah.
So that's where we're seeing the launch and stuff like that. So that's where it might not, if he made the exact same swing, it might not have come out as high, but he reacted to the situation and obviously saw a different result. So
Yeah, I
that's
guess
something to take into
moral
account.
of the story is the equipment can obviously change results, but it can actually also change delivery and change
Changes
the player.
person, absolutely.
Yeah.
It can for sure. So if we see another one like that, well, that's pretty good. So let's do it.
It's not bad. The shaft feels good.
Good. Okay, so that one you released for sure. It started a little bit more left. It will draw.
Yeah, so the funny thing is I hit it solid,
Yeah.
but that's where the draw head is taking over. So because I'm hitting more up on it, it
Yes.
feels like when I'm, how do I explain it in my gorilla? When I'm hitting it level, the head hasn't had time to release. As soon as I start hitting up at it, then the toe just kind of wants to go
Wants to turn
and
over.
flip over.
Yeah, which is understandable. And
Yeah.
I think again, that's where this shaft is making Matt do that. So let's say that the head might have done that with the other shafts we had in there, but they didn't because he didn't react that way, right? So that's where you have to take that into account too, right? Is if you made the same swing, you might have seen those same results.
So for me, being a player, first one was a tight draw, but I don't like draws.
Yeah.
I know it's like, okay, that's good for most people.
Yeah.
And the next one was a big draw.
Yeah. 50
So
feet
right
left.
away I go X. Nope.
Yeah, exactly. So
No,
that's
I hit 2 that went left of the line. No way.
For sure. And if we look at like your dispersion, you're obviously, I mean, yeah, it's curving a lot more left. These guys here, there was a lot more curvature to the right, a little bit more consistently. And I think like a lot of players would take that, right? A lot of players would look at that and go, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a strong flight. It's going to get me out there a long way. As long as you're not someone like Matt or like a lot of people that struggle with hooking it, when they do get into that pattern, it's not a bad idea. And this driver is not as beginner driver as what people think it is. Right? Just because it says it's draw bias and it's lighter doesn't mean a player like Matt can't play it, right? It's just that's not the shape that he's looking for.
So this is where I go. I like the shaft a lot.
Okay, good.
It's probably something to play with the head, but you're the fitter, so I'll just smack whatever you tell me to.
We've got one more, so I would like to just see you swing,
let's give it a
one
try.
with this guy.
Let's give it a try, because we know the head's going to make a huge difference.
Yes, for
Right?
sure.
We're still hitting the draw bias head.
Yeah. So the cool thing about these heads too is basically this is a 20 gram weight, and in this one it's a 13 gram weight. Well, that's the difference between the head weight of these drivers is 7 grams. So all of it is in that weighting, and I think there's probably a little bit more tech behind the scenes, but it makes it kind of a cool difference there with
It makes a change. I mean, I notice it. So
with just sheer head weight. So all right, so let's try this last guy here.
Okay.
So this is the Fuji Tour Spec.
I don't know if I've hit this before.
No, you might have hit it in the G, in the STG, maybe once or twice. It felt very stout in the G. It definitely like had a firmer feel off the face as well. So let's try that guy here.
Good.
Again. Okay, so this is Tour Spec. Atmos Black, and this is, all right.
Feels pretty tight as well.
Yeah, it's definitely tight. I mean, it's one of the ones that like similar profile. I mean, with stiffness to the hazardous, but
let's see once I put some speed into it. See how it feels.
Absolutely. Let's see it.
Ugh.
Okay, left.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hit another one, but right away I feel like it kicks weird and.
Yeah. Okay, give me.
I'll give you another one.
Give me one more off that yellow tee you were hitting it off before too.
So.
Keep that consistent for me.
Yeah. So this is just one that normally in a fitting, if I felt that, I would give it one more, and if I feel like that again, it's
over.
just axed.
Yeah.
But for all of our we will.
Give it another go here.
We'll give it another go just so you can see.
Again, I mean, I always think like the first one, we want it to work perfectly, but there is a difference in how these two feel. So
yeah,
give it a
there's an
swat.
adjustment.
Yeah. Let's see it. It's flush. It's just it's going left.
I don't like it. Yeah, it's just.
So again, decent flight, but
not horrible, but for me, it's no.
Yeah.
It just doesn't kick. I feel like I'd have to work to time it. I wouldn't be able to just
And this is an interesting thing too, because Matt is very much a feel player when it comes to equipment. I mean, I think like I can feel some of what Matt's talking about, but not nearly to the point where he can, right? I mean, I feel differences and I see differences in numbers and how it feels, but he can really pinpoint kind of why it felt that way, which is kind of a pretty cool skill. So we're going to go with the obvious next option here. So we're going to switch into the Z. So the Z here. So this is 9.5 degrees. So in theory, it should come out a little bit lower for you anyways. But we're going to pair it with the same RDX that we did like the feeling of that started to turn a little bit on us. And if we can kind of get that not drawing, then we should have a pretty happy camper here. So again,
yeah. So in theory, this should be the magic wand.
Yeah, in theory. I mean, again, that's where maybe a little bit of massaging here or there, but it's definitely.
I could use a massage.
All right. So this is STZ. Oh, let's see. You got the big red line for me here. Let's see it.
How do you know it's going to be a red line before I hit it?
It's red.
Wow, you really are a professional.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it'll be white in 3. All right. Let's see it. RDX STZ. Okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, not a good swing.
Yeah.
Like that was, I really necked it, so that was pretty bad.
Yeah. So I was check that. So
give me another one just to kind of get comfortable.
I mean, not a terrible result. We know that it was off the heel, so ball speed was down, spin was up a little bit, and obviously it kind of shut that face coming through and went a little bit left. Ball speed was down a little bit too. So let's try one more here. We know this is heavier.
That one was it's definitely heavier.
Yeah, so there's a
bit of an adjustment there.
Okay, good to know.
But it's let me smack it again and just kind of get comfortable with it.
Let's see it. Okay, so definitely started right of the line here.
Yeah, that one again, that was a bit of a reaction from the last, rip hook.
So again, interesting, right? Because like for me, I watch all these numbers and see the first one you hit 2 up on, that one you hit 1 down. So definitely.
So maybe it's not the magic wand.
Different golf swing there. So
it definitely feels different with the added weight in the head, even though I really like this shaft with the lighter one.
Yeah, and that's where you can obviously like. Not a bad idea to retry that again.
Sure.
And this is where in a fitting too, where if I was with a normal customer here, obviously I'm not, but I would definitely go back to the X just to retest it again, because obviously Matt's now made a few more swings. He was kind of in a rhythm before, and maybe we're breaking him out of that rhythm, and then we want to see if it's going to work again, right? So I'm going to have him hit one more with this guy, but this is kind of the case in the fitting where I haven't seen you miss it left and right with any problem.
Yeah, it's and you don't want to get into a fitting and go, oh, let me make it work. That's the worst thing you can do. So this. And
I mean, again,
I had my hopes up. I thought this was going to be.
Yeah, and you're allowed to make poor swings, right? Like that's one thing. You don't have to be perfect in a fitting.
Because I got those ready to rock anytime I need them.
Yeah. So all right, let's give me one more here just to make sure it wasn't a fluke or a coincidence there.
No, I necked it. You're right. It's
your ball
horrible with
speed's
it.
Yeah, your
it's
ball
probably the
speed's
worst
down,
one.
And a lot of things are just kind of out of rhythm. So interesting there. Okay, well let's do one more here.
I thought I was going to get to just relax. I thought we were fit. We were
No, I'm not done with you yet.
Okay.
Still need a few more of those good swings. All right. So this is where we didn't like that guy, but I want to try the first one that we tried. So this is the Motore.
That one felt okay, yeah.
So this was,
that was decent.
Good. And that's where like, can't go flatter than this guy is already. So we want to make sure that we're not catching it on the heel, because that's a issue with Matt's golf swing. That does happen every once in a while. And obviously the flatter lie angles we saw with Ping kind of helped a little bit. We saw the less draw bias drivers that sit a little bit flatter have kind of helped get his strike location into the good spot where we want it. But this one's already sitting quite flat. So if we know it's coming off the heel, then there's an issue there. So, all right, so this is Motore, F3.
At least my shoes match my call.
I was gonna say, at least you look good, right? That's part of it.
Thanks, man.
All right, let's see.
Okay, we ready?
Let's see it. Smash Factory green line here for you. Show off for the folks at home.
For the folk at home.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Donor. Good start line there. Good launch there too. So again,
Whoa.
give me one more, because you hit that really solid. Your spin was up there.
Just face was open. I was surprised. I didn't think I hit it
Big
that
difference
bad.
there. That's okay. You do sometimes. All right. Should show off our nice ball grabber tool.
Yeah, that Eddie made for us.
Yeah, and then your dad revamped.
Yeah, and then we
2.0.
broke it, and then my dad fixed it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Not my
got all
brain
kinds
power.
of people working for us
Free.
for free.
By that.
That's how we stay in business.
All right, give me one more here. That was
Okay.
ugly. So let's see one more.
I'm trying my best, man. You know?
I know.
And Mark won't say that your swing is ugly. Like if you come in here, he'll just say to me,
We've got a close enough relationship now that I'm allowed to poke fun at him. All right, let's see a good one here.
Feeling.
Okay, good start line again. Your ball speed down a fraction. Looked like a smoother swing.
This is crazy, but I hit the draw head better.
It's interesting. See, and this is where like I look at it, because I know that this is what you're trying to do, and I think when you do get your swing in a place that you're comfortable with, you cut it, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I think some people watching this, like our videos in the past, might think Matt is a drawer of the golf ball, because that's sometimes your miss. But when you have something that's fit properly to you, that's how you hit it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, again, I look at that and think, well, yeah, it's 95 feet right of the center of this line, but Matt's not going to aim down the center of this line.
Very true. I am
right?
going to set up left, but
You're 43 yards of movement, or sorry, 43 feet of movement. So it's starting halfway out to the right, anyways, right? So,
but this ain't good. I mean,
no,
it's pretty simple to say that.
It's pretty interesting, though.
I'm wild with it. Okay.
Right, and I think, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So, all right, well, for fun, I want to go back to Mr. X, Mr. Hooky.
Yeah.
In the same thing here, and see what we get.
You're gonna put it in that? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, if we look at our results so far today, if we look at kind of our dispersions here, which is something I always pull up. Let's see. Let's get rid of your first few swings here. So this is something with TrackMan that we can do, and I do in 99% of my fittings, is basically look at the overlays, right? So you can see kind of every shot. We haven't deleted a single one for Matt. He's swinging pretty well here. We know that, okay, if we looked at tightness of dispersion, obviously this guy here, which was left, which we don't want, right? So if a normal person like wanted to see that little draw, that's a great dispersion. Obviously only hit 2 shots there, but you just didn't like the way it felt, right? So that's part of it too, is I can't feel what Matt feels, and as fitters, we need that feedback. And if you don't want to hit a draw, then that's not what we're going to fit you to. So if we look at this light blue one here, that was the first one that we hit, right? So we know that the first swing here was that guy, right? So if we ignore that one, we see really good ball speeds, really good launch, really good spin, and kind of the shape that Matt wants, and it's right of this line.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So that's where we're kind of going back to here. We're going to see if we can't add to those data points and kind of recreate what we saw early in this fitting. So this is back to the X here. Okay.
You got it tagged? Or
no, give me one
okay,
second here. Yeah. So this is the STX. Again, same shaft we kind of started with, and again, we're gonna retest the RDX one more time with this, just to make sure.
That one was pretty solid too. It just I drew that one, so
for sure.
Okay.
So
well, let's
right.
see.
Let's give it a go. That was gorgeous.
That was a missile.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Surprised. Oh.
Okay, so face a little bit open, but again.
Okay, it felt really solid. Again, it faded.
Yeah.
It looks ugly on camera, but that's actually.
See, and what I want to highlight again, like, not to harp on it too much, but that only had 36 feet of movement, right? So where Matt's starting it is too far right, essentially. But outside, he's going to play that little push cut all day, and if he can get his path a little bit left with something like this, he will hit that nice pull cut, and he's going to hit a lot of fairways like that, right? So that was 290. It wasn't your longest drive, but it's definitely in play. So let's see one more here.
That was a toe jammer.
Okay,
really
so let's
bad.
see what that does.
Really, really
Interesting.
bad.
Interesting. So the other one we were hitting a little on the heel before.
Yeah.
So we can see, yeah, definitely a little toey there. So
Okay.
just kind of geared that face opener, kind of deflected the face open. It's funny though, because again,
same shape, just
it's,
again,
yeah,
that was a miss.
You know what? So let me make a little tweak here. So let's kind of massage this guy a little bit.
All right.
Interesting, because the launch is good. I mean, your numbers are good. Again, 5 TrackMan imperatives. Matt's controlling his delivery well. We know that the face is, like Scott said, is the first thing that kind of leaves you, right? It's the hardest thing to maintain. So we're going to see if we can't maintain that face angle a little bit here. And what I'm going to do is go 1 degree upright. So we know that with this shaft, you've towed a couple of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to move that strike location hopefully a little more to the center. We know that if Matt takes this and does not like the way it looks, then he is allowed to ask to change it, right? That's part of it. So, but let's try this. So this is 1 degree upright, still the same loft, nothing too dissimilar.
It looks okay. So it looks okay because Mizuno's done a good job of still making the toe look open.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like it's going to go straight left on me.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe I'll complain after I hit it. But right now, there's hope.
Yeah, and I want you to focus on just your start lines here, because your shaping is really good, consistent. I just want you to get that started just left of that line and see if that will fade or cut on you here.
So that I necked big time.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you make it more upright, it goes that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So, and that's where, if we look at that versus that, right, that's 1 degree different. Obviously, we know Matt's not a robot, so there's going to be a difference in the way he delivers it. But basically, path was 1 right before, 1 up on it. That one was 0-0, basically, and the face was shut, which is not what we normally see with you. With that delivery, normally we do see that cut. So here, let me grab that one more time here.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
On Saturday, I was starting to tee it up a little higher.
Okay, because I noticed
And I
you
was
did that
hitting
a
it
couple
high,
times.
but I was hitting it good.
Interesting.
Like hitting it high,
Yeah.
it was fading. I was hitting it. I hit a lot of fairways. And then
Interesting.
just missed greens with 9 irons all day long.
That's always fun.
Oh, it was really fun.
You're supposed to drive it well and then play well, not drive it well and play poorly.
Yeah,
That's
no,
your
I drove
MO.
it well and played like an athlete.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One day it'll all sync up.
Pathetic.
All right, so little difference in setup here. I'm curious to see if you can see it when you put it down here. But we know that we like that face open.
Yeah,
It's
I think I know what you did.
Yeah, so it's a little less open now, basically. So Matt, again, he's never going to hit it too high, right? We were just talking about that, but it does not happen very often. So that's where a little bit more loft for you is not the end of the world, as long as it looks okay. And I think when Matt gets too little loft, he kind of tries to get underneath it and lift it up in the air, like I'm sure a lot of we do and a lot of players do. So this is where Matt knows he can kind of cover it. This has a little bit more loft on it. And let's see kind of how it performs.
So you've added a bit of loft, which when you add loft, it shuts the face a little.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, again, aesthetically, it's not dramatic. You won't see it a ton. Mizuno's done a great job with that, but we will see how this performs and how this affects ball flight. Again, more loft, you hit it lower. Interesting. Okay, so that was just off the bottom, right? So you caught that a little bottom heely.
I think we got to try the other shaft.
Yeah.
Not really giving you much to work with.
No, give me one more with this
more?
guy, though. Yeah, I want to see one more here.
Okay.
All right, let's see it. See that nice little cut? Yeah, you can see you're trying to help it. It's interesting. So there's definitely a difference there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me just double check here. So again, if we go through kind of what we've seen from today, so that was the first time you hit that driver, right? So a little different delivery. And this is, again, why always hit it again, right? Go through a few, then go back to the one that you really think is going to be
Yeah, we
the
always
winner.
retest during a thing.
I always call it the leader in the clubhouse, and doesn't mean someone's not going to shoot 62, right, and pass them. So definitely take that into account and always try it again. But we can see, like, that one we didn't like. We know it was left and right. We didn't see a lot of. This one, again, just too open. Strike wasn't there. Similar story here. And then we tried to work with that a little bit. Just doesn't seem to want to gel, right? It just doesn't quite seem. So I'm going to go ahead.
Should we try the RDX again? I mean,
That's what I've got.
maybe it's like, okay, I'm going to have a driver that turns over. And
Yeah, I mean, I think that,
I don't know.
I mean, if you launch it high enough, like you were before, I can open that face again. Right, so we can go down to 9.5 is what we did before.
Okay.
I can almost guarantee you're not going to hit it left unless you hit it left, right?
You're not the boss of the things I do.
I wish I could control them.
I wish
Can't
somebody
that easily.
could control me.
All right. So let's test that guy. So this is now RDX back with the STX head here. This is the one that first go around, strikes were really solid, just shaping wasn't perfect. So we're gonna go to, it's the STX. We're gonna go to RDX 6.5. And then this is now 1 degree lower. So
Right.
this is at 9.5 degrees now. So
And again, this is an example of during a fitting where we can switch to a head that has more loft, de-loft it to open the face, or use less loft and add loft to shut the face.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we can do. So the stated loft on a head is fairly irrelevant
Yeah.
nowadays with what you end up hitting.
For sure, and I think like obviously if you're a big slicer of the golf ball, go with a lower lofted head and turn it up. If you're like Matt, where you don't want to see it go left, definitely try and get a little bit more loft, open that face a little bit, and just make sure that the launch conditions are appropriate. So, all right, let's give this a whirl. Love that. So
That went, yeah, I hit that high on the face.
You did. So
but it was just a high push. That's okay. I can live with that.
And ball speed, we know that like you guys will see it on at home too. That was down 6 miles an hour, 6 or 7 miles an hour from what you're, but that was those freaky launch conditions for you. Again, most people, like some people can launch at 15, 16, 17 and spin it very low. Matt's not going to do that. So I've harped on him for a long time is like, the strike location and the miss hits higher on the face is much, much better.
Yeah.
Right? And it's definitely going to give you better results. And I mean, you can see his little baby tee. It's hard to get underneath that thing and hit it high on the face, but he's working on it. And that was one of those examples where ball speed wasn't great, but got freaky launch conditions, still hit at 290, right? So, all right, let's see it. So that was 107.5 head speed. Let's see 108, 109 here. Bring some speed for us.
Trying. I feel like there's not much in the tank today.
That's all right. You got it. Good ball. Good ball. That was lovely. Really
Now
good
we're
flight.
talking.
Very, again, so there's a great example of that was 5 or 6 miles an hour faster ball speed. It went 2 yards further because the launch conditions weren't crazy. They were good for Matt. Like that was 9 launch, 2,400 spin.
A little low.
Yeah, and I think like, I mean, we know that Matt's a level attack angle guy, and we saw a couple times maybe 2-3, and that's where he's going to get those launch conditions. But for Matt to play good golf, he needs to see the ball in the fairway, and he needs to see it like this. And I think a flatter flight historically for him has gotten the golf ball on the ground a little bit quicker, a little bit more trust, and he might be giving up 8 or 10 yards, but at least it's in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot less penalty strokes.
For sure. And we
it's
know
really hard to make par from your pocket.
Yeah, and we know you can amp it up if you need to on a par 5. You're feeling good, but you're not going to do that unless you've seen a lot of these shots, right, and seen the consistency. So it's nice to see that that's kind of working for you here. All right, let's see another one just like that last one. That was perfect.
Yeah, I gave that one
Timing
pretty
was
good
good
smack.
Timing was gorgeous.
This
there.
is the winner.
Yeah.
We're done here.
So again, that's where guys like look at that, right? And I think you can see the confidence build because head speed was 107, then it was 109, that was 111, right? So things are moving up. Again, launch, very consistent window, 10 launch, 1900 spin. Not too low for Matt because we know that was all backspin. He hit that with 5 feet of curvature, right? So it's not like it was curving a ton and that was adding to it. So fantastic. And if again, like no changing things around, there's 3 shots.
And that was you just decreasing loft to open the face a bit more.
Exactly.
So this is the draw driver
Yeah.
with less loft to open the face.
Yeah.
And suddenly the numbers are right where I
Yeah.
want, the ball's going right. That was interesting. I fully expected the fade bias head to be the best fit for me. Turns out I don't know anything.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like we talked about in the video, it's not a shut face driver, right? So I think that's where a lot of companies, they do get into that habit of building them shut for guys that slice it. This is something that it's a little bit lighter. It's not quite as extreme. So for Matt, the way that he likes to see it and the way he likes to swing, it works, right? And I think that's where if you're someone who is looking for a new driver this year, don't just write this one off, right? It definitely has the ability to get into a better player's bag.
Hey, thanks for calling me a better player, man.
You got it, right? So very interesting. Obviously, we found kind of a happy camper here with the shaft and obviously the head combo, and we got some great results with Matt. And I think it'll be very interesting to kind of compare this with some of the other things that we fit Matt for too, because those results were very good and very playable. They might not have had the longest numbers or the most ball speed, but they were extremely consistent.
Yeah, I can play golf from where I hit it. So
Absolutely.
it's good stuff.
Absolutely. No, and I think that's really important, right?
Yep.
Is when you're getting fit, you want to make sure that you can play golf with that driver, not just hit balls on the range as far as someone else, right? So very, very important. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you
stuff.
guys. Yeah, appreciate it.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, questions at smashfactory.ca. You can say whatever chirps you want to say to Mark, talk about how cool I am.
Yeah.
Anything you want to see us test, we've got a lot of this stuff coming.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you have any questions, you can leave it down in the comments, or like Matt said, send it to our email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible and hopefully answer that for you. So,
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Take care.
Do you need to tag it?
Yeah, sure. I might as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Clap.
Just realized.
I can't see shit from here. That says X, right?
Yep.
Okay.
What's the matter? What's wrong with you?
I just can't see that far.
It's huge. It's on a screen.
Yeah, but the writing's not huge. I can't. The light's in my face. I can't make that out. Looks blurry. I have glasses. What do you mean I can't see? Vision sucks.
Folks, Mark has a lot of problems.
I do.
At least he's good at his job.
Sometimes.